Hey there, Dr. Mark here, and today I'm going to be teaching you how the best online nutrition coaches set up their weekly check-ins to deliver a more premium service and get better results for their clients. Here's the deal, anyone can tell someone to do something, but coaching them through it, that's a totally different story. And that's why the role of a nutrition coach is to help people achieve results by influencing behavior in the long term and not just trying to fix it in the short term. Sometimes it's helping a client build proper habits like eating enough protein at each meal or even preparing more of their own food. Other times it's holding them accountable to being consistent. And the best time to provide this type of support is during client check-ins. As a nutrition coach, the client check-in is where the science of nutrition meets the art of coaching, where you can inspire real behavior change and create real results. And today I'm going to show you how nutrition coaches set up their client check-ins to stay organized and get better results for their clients. Being a nutrition coach isn't as simple as telling someone everything you know about nutrition and just expecting them to do it. Effective nutrition coaches give their clients just enough information they can act on. This information is tailored to their unique situation and goals and followed up with action steps that actually help them put it into work. And most of this happens during the client check-in. A client check-in provides the opportunity for both the coach and the client to communicate. It's the best time to exchange what is happening, what is going well, and what needs more attention. For the coach, it's an opportunity to review data and get a better sense of how the client is feeling about the process. Each coach will ask different questions depending on what they help clients achieve, but in the Dr. Mark method, we train coaches to collect feedback around the following. Number 1, results. Has anything changed? Number 2, adherence. How well do the clients stick to the plan? Number 3, feedback cues. Were there any changes to hunger, energy levels, or exercise performance? Number 4, behavior and motivation. How is the client feeling about the process? And number 5, what's coming up? What does the coach need to know to make a plan? This information allows the coach to make any adjustments or just stay the course. For online nutrition coaches, this is typically done once per week and on a predetermined date. Since the coach is leading this process, it's important to select a predetermined date so everything stays professional and organized. There's always room for feedback and dialogue informally outside of these times, but when done effectively, you don't actually need that. One time per week is the most ideal amount of time between check-ins because it allows enough time for a client to put new action steps into practice and gives enough time for the coach to actually see if this is working. Less than 7 days just flat out does not give you enough time. But more than 7 days, let's say every 2 weeks or a month, does not allow the coach to stay close enough to the process. So once per week is the sweet spot. And generally these check-ins do not need to be live. And actually after working with 1,500 plus clients over the last decade, I've found that most clients actually prefer it this way. They get the feedback they need to achieve results in an economical and streamlined way. And since everything is done online, they can connect with professionals outside of their local area. The check-in process goes as follows. Number 1, the client submits data and feedback on time. For example, most clients like to check in on Mondays, so if you set that as the check-in day, you let them know that they need to have everything submitted by 9 a.m. and you'll review it after. Now it's the coach's time to review and assess everything that's been submitted. The coach then provides a detailed response with any further questions. They may go back and forth, and then they check in again next week. So that's the basic check-in process, but how do you keep everything organized? Most people get into coaching because they are passionate and they want to help more people. But if you want to grow your business, you have to take care of your business too, which means putting just as much effort into your marketing, sales, and education as you do your actual coaching. So in the effort to help and reach more people, you're going to want to keep your coaching very organized. Let's talk about how to organize your check-ins. When you're first starting out, you want to keep all your coaching check-ins on one day. Most clients like Sunday or Monday because it's the natural start of the week. Since most beginning and intermediate coaches can handle around 5 to 10 clients per day, you want to fill up one check-in day before opening up another. This will help you spend more time doing content creation and other marketing research. Remember, unless you want a coaching hobby, which is going to be expensive and take up a lot of your time, you're going to want to work on your business and not just in your business, which is the coaching. So the key here is staying organized and sticking to your guns. Think about what happens when you go to a busy restaurant. The host is going to sit you down at a table which is best for the restaurant based on their availability and staff and that kind of stuff, but it also happens to be what's best for you. So set the check-in days based on your availability and it's going to be what's best for your business. Once you have one day entirely filled up with the most clients you can handle, move on to the next day. Listen, there have been periods of time where I've worked with 100 plus nutrition clients all at one time. The highest being back in 2017 when I actually worked with 107 paying nutrition clients. This meant I was checking in with around 15 individual clients per day. The key to making this all work is staying organized, and the key is getting organized now so you can help and reach more people. It's also helpful to keep track of who you've actually checked in with. The simplest practice to stay organized is actually create a physical list of people that you're checking in with that day, and once you correspond with them, cross them off your list. But here's the deal, don't prompt the check-in process. This is something a client should be doing. Someone wise once told me you shouldn't do something for someone that they can do for themselves, which means it's important to set expectations around the check-in process. Clients should know exactly when they should have everything submitted and when you'll follow up. This is their program, not your program, and they need to treat it that way. Okay, great. So we have the what and why around check-ins. Let's dig in now into what you should actually ask. When structured properly, the weekly check-in form gives the clients a chance to reflect on their week and in some cases even coach themselves. Since the coaching process should be positive, we need to start with something positive each and every week. Here are the type of questions we should ask to get a better sense of what kind of results the clients are getting, how well are they sticking to the plan, where are their heads at in terms of behavior and motivation, and if there's anything coming up. A good mix of short, open-ended, and sliding scale questions keep things helpful and straight to the point. A good question to ask around results is always around weekly wins. Again, we want to start things off positive. Since a lot of clients will struggle to see what's going well in their plan, we got to give them an opportunity to point out something positive. Also, weekly wins are very marketable. So when we wear our marketing hat, these are things that we can share to inspire more people to take action. You also want to get a sense of how their bodies are responding. To get this type of feedback, using things like sliding scales are very, very helpful. And by using a sliding scale, we can keep things objective. You can compare things from week to week and you get a better sense of what direction things are heading. But we also want to get a sense of what can be improved. Not everything can be positive. Give them an opportunity to get some constructive feedback by asking what can be improved. You also want to know what's coming up and if there's anything that you should plan for. Food is social, cultural, and fun, and it's to be enjoyed, and that's going to present challenges for clients in different ways. Ask them if they have anything coming up that needs to be planned for so you can work it into their plan ahead of time. Here's something I've learned after doing this for like nearly 10 years. You want to know if there's something to plan for, like a birthday party or a trip, well in advance. There is no worse feeling than writing a very detailed response, going over it, putting a lot of thought and evaluation into things, sending it off, and then getting a response literally minutes later saying, Dr. Mark, that's such great feedback. Thank you for outlining that. I should have told you though, I'm going on a 2-week backpacking trip where I'll have no access to the normal food that I typically eat. Should I change anything? Of course you should change anything. And you can avoid that entire process, both the work and the effort that goes into the response, by just asking that question in advance. Lastly, getting a sense of some objective information around calories and macronutrient intake, the stuff that really influences a client's ability to lose fat, gain muscle, improve athletic performance, can be really, really helpful. The easiest way to collect all this information is in some web-based form like a Google form. And if you actually want an example of a weekly check-in form that I still use to this day, check the description below and I'll link one up. Okay, so you collected a bunch of feedback, both subjective and objective. Now what are you gonna do with it? It is time to craft your response. I like a good mix of email correspondence, so there's a paper trail, but also including some video. There's no better way for clients to get to know you and trust you than hearing you go over what's going on with them. It also takes a lot less time than writing everything out. However, even if you're not changing anything, it's common practice to give your client 1 to 2 things to work on each week. And these are usually called action steps. They don't always have to be new, but you should always be giving your client something to work on. And this doesn't always need to be entirely prescriptive. Get them involved in the actual solution. Using follow-up questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to be able to make these changes this week? Or what are 2 things you can do this week to make blank easier? Helps get them involved in the actual action steps. When you get them involved, these things are much more likely to be realistic. They will do them, and also you're holding them accountable to things that they said they would do, not what you told them to do. It's powerful stuff. Okay, so that's how we correspond to a check-in, but what happens if they miss? So much weight is placed on this check-in process, but sometimes life gets in the way and clients will actually miss their check-ins. So what do? The best thing you can do is set expectations from the beginning. For example, if you don't submit your check-in by 9 a.m. of your check-in day, you will actually formally miss your check-in. Don't panic, this happens. But what's gonna happen is, since you missed your check-in, your plan is gonna stay the same for the entire week, and I encourage you to check in at the exact same time next week. Obviously, you don't want them to fall off the face of the earth, but you need to set boundaries. You don't have to chase people or follow up, because the emphasis needs to be on them and this being their program. So that's it, folks. When you nail the check-in process, you're gonna become an effective coach that saves time, that gets results, that changes lives. But as great as all these tips are, if you're really serious about starting an online nutrition coaching business, you're gonna wanna check out this next video I have linked up right here on the best tools to use as an online nutrition coach. So make sure to check it out now, and we'll see you in the next video.